Welcome back, and we'll begin this segment with the commodities market. Nigeria's manufacturing index showed a decline to 54.0 reading in the month of May. That's against a higher 58.9 reading in the previous month of April. Also, the MSCI rebalancing has been announced. A new weighting take effect today. What would all of these mean for Nigeria's domestic commodities market? I'm being joined by a research analyst with Financial Derivatives Company, Adim Okwesa. Good afternoon, Adim. Thank you very much for joining us. So what do you make of the latest PMI report, and what does it mean for the economy?
Well, the PMI it contracted fell for the first time in 5 months. But I think the most important thing is that it's still above the 50 neutral mark. That is that the manufacturing sector is still expanding. I think the reports pointed to seasonal effects and how the rainy season has affected stock purchases. The report also pointed to the fact that although business confidence has improved significantly, consumer confidence is still lagging. I think you can attribute that to several factors. I think although we've seen improvements in our leading economic indicators such as our currency, GDP, inflation, the average man and woman on the street is still yet to feel this improvement. And you can, the prime example being inflation. Inflation has declined for 3 consecutive months, but yet food prices are still very high. But all in all, I think the outlook is positive. June, we should see an uptick in the manufacturing sector because hopefully the budget will be signed too promptly, and that should kickstart activity in the economy and manufacturing sector.
Right. Now, a report just coming in says that Nigeria's weighting in the MSCI Frontier Index has increased to 7.9%. That's from 6.5%. Looking at what we have, PMI report, what does this now mean for the country and, of course, the fast-moving consumer goods sector?
Yes, I think it's great news for the economy. I think there are reports a couple of weeks ago that Nigeria's weighting will be reduced, but the contrary happened. Nigeria's weighting was increased. I think that reflects that maybe the markets are satisfied with the foreign liquidity and the market accessibility. That's in respect to what the CBN has been doing since February 20th. And with that, we should see increased interest by fund managers in Nigerian equities. I think going through the list of Nigerian equities that were revised, we saw there were a lot of banking stocks and also stocks, as well as FMCG stocks. So we should see increased interest in these stocks. So it's very good for the economy.
Are you at FDC expect pressure on the Naira and the Forex markets in general? Why, and how will that impact domestic commodities?
Yes, indeed, we envisage pressure for a number of reasons. Number one, I think there are a lot of arrears. There are reports that arrears are building. I think there was a newspaper report that all marketers' arrears amount to over $2 billion. And also, there are also reports that earlier they're also building up their backlogs. So with that, maybe pressure will be diverted to the black market. And also, like what I mentioned earlier, the hope is that the 2017 budget will be signed soon. With that, I think this Forex is also going to start for capital expenditure, and that alone should put pressure on the currency. And also, we're also seeing signs of aggregate demand building up. I think the summer season is upon us, and with that, we should see more people traveling abroad, and with that, that should come with higher demand for PTA, BTA, and also on the black market. So, but I think the important thing is that this is only slight pressure. I don't think we expect the currency to depreciate to 400 or 450 levels. I think we should only see a slight depreciation. So we're still in good territory.
Thank you very much. I like that optimism. We'll keep being optimistic about this economy. Thank you very much for your time, Adim. And the World Food Programme is urging for more funding to fight the deepening hunger and nutrition crisis in Somalia. More than half the 12 million Somalian population are in need of aid, and the country risks a repeat of famine that killed hundreds of thousands of people just 6 years ago.
Poor rains, disease outbreaks, widespread livestock deaths, and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of people by drought is making the food and nutrition situation in Somalia far worse. The United Nations says more than half of the 12 million population need aid. A similar drought in 2011, exacerbated by years of civil war, sparked the world's last famine, which killed 260,000 people. Now the country teeters on the brink again. At a camp in Dalau, a Somali town on the Ethiopian border, international aid agencies are helping families fleeing the devastating drought. They are issued with electronic cash vouchers introduced to give the holder a choice of rations and to diversify diets. The vouchers are topped up and can be used at selected retail shops. This also helps to boost economic activity within host communities.
I've been here for 4 months since drought displaced us. When I first moved in, WFP gave me this card. This is the only source of income we have. We don't have jobs. We do not have any other help other than this card. And this morning, my card was topped up. I redeemed it and I've used it to buy food.
WFP says despite large-scale assistance that has helped improve conditions for many, a growing number of people are still facing severe hunger and malnutrition is worsening, especially amongst mothers and children.
The World Food Program is feeding about 2.3 million people right now per day, but funds are short, and if we do not receive the funds we need, we're talking about a situation that'll be potentially much worse than the famine that took place in 2010, 11, and 12 when 260,000 people died, and literally half of those died before the famine was declared. We're looking at multiples much worse than that with the numbers that we're seeing now. So we need the money, and we need it now.
The program says it urgently needs $297 million from June through November this year, adding that without new contributions, 700,000 people will miss their daily meals as early as June, and up to 1.2 million women and children will not receive special nutritious food assistance.
And finally on the program, the World Bank will provide $29 million to help Senegal as it negotiates oil and gas contracts with producers. Now, oil firms, including BP and Total, are developing previously untapped oil and gas fields off Senegal's Atlantic coast that could bring billions of dollars of profits to the impoverished country in the next decade. But many citizens have expressed concern that a lack of transparency and the terms of recent contracts mean that the financial benefits may not filter down to the wider economy. And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimezie Obi. Wow.